Hello, everyone, and welcome to RHAP's coverage of Australian Survivor. I'm your host, Shannon Guss, here with some off-season content. The occasion is sad, but we're really happy to be at least in what's going to be a really fun group tonight. We have some Survivor players coming on to talk about JLP. We're going to do a bit of a farewell to JLP, talk about some favorite moments that the players have, and how could I not co-host this with a wonderful former co-host of mine who I love so much, and I'm so glad to have here on RHAP. She is known as not only an iconic queen and so funny, but also someone who iconically loves JLP. It's Chrissy Zaremba, or should I say Chrissy LaPaglia, based on her
Thank you.
name. Hey, Chrissy, how are you?
Hello, my girl. It's been a big week. I'm in serious mourning and I can't keep up with the DMs. Australia is not happy, Shannon.
Didn't notice. Yeah, no. That the outcry has been loud. I do love how people are like, I'm going to talk to Chrissy about this. Like, this is my go-to to mourn about it.
Come to me. Come to me. I'm in the fetal position. Look, there's so many things going, and this was always going to happen. You know, like there's going to be this story, his story, her story, 10's story. So what a great idea to get us all together, especially his greatest crush, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, look, you'd have competition with my mom and me and everyone. Everyone has a crush on JLP,
No,
but
you as well.
Obviously. I mean, look, I'm a woman. I'm a straight woman, all right? So I have eyes as well.
Don't rule out those men.
That's true, for sure. I mean, look, let's not just, it wasn't just that with JLP, but it was a very big part of it, right? He was nice to look at. He was also above that. Well, we'll talk about that, Chrissy. Talk about how nice he was to look at. Do you want to start with that?
Mate, I only went on the show because of him. It's not that. It's not brain surgery. This is a smart man. Not only is he blessed, I think, is he a doctor?
I think he's a doctor.
He's a damn doctor.
He's
He's like a red wine. He's getting absolutely more delicious as he gets older. And he's a bloody good bloke, Shan. Like, I spent 8 weeks with him. I tell everyone that. I tell everyone that'll listen, I had 8 weeks with him. No, I didn't. I had about 48 minutes with him when you average it all, when you average it all out. I didn't have 8 weeks with him, but the time I did have with him, this is, a real good bloke, a great Australian host, world renowned. Everyone knows him from other stuff he's done. And I was just blessed to hang out with him because on that show, I don't care what anyone says, he absolutely makes it. Without him, I did a radio thing the other day. Without him, Shannon, you can't do what you're doing and be who you want to be because he feeds what you're going to give back, you know? The producers and the execs and stuff are there, but as someone who was wildly obsessed with him to nearly a dark sort of...
I don't think so. Very appropriate.
Thank you, Shannon. I asked him twice if he'd marry me. That didn't go to air. But he was so professional and he knew I was starstruck and he knew I was scared and he knew I had no idea and he still got the best out of me. So this is a good guy.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite JLP memory that sticks out? I mean, I assume he said no to the marriage proposals and you're not actually Chrissy LaPaglia, so that might not be the number one. But are there any memories that stick out as a number one JLP memory?
Oh, girl, there's so many. On that final challenge, there was this beam that sort of reached out of maybe 5 meters over a cliff. I hate heights. I was beside myself because I'd heard from my kids. It's the final challenge. And I'm like, I don't want to do it. I just give them it. I'm out. I'm done. I was like, I can't do it. I can't look over that. Because my fear was, I've got the gymnast. Remember Shay? She's hanging with one finger. I've got Mark, the military. I could kill people, I think. That was his job. And then Josh was jiu-jitsu, I had these warriors next to me and I just didn't want to do it. And I remember walking up and I'm just like, I don't want to do it, JLP. And he's like, come on, we're here. You got this. I'm going to be standing here. And I said, I'm going to pop my shoulder. If I fall in that water, it's so high. And he's like, yeah, and I'll get you. You'll be fine. Someone will get you out. You're not going to pop your shoulder because you're going final 3. He was just the best. And I don't care what anyone says. Yes, we're a little Survivor cult and you're on there with 24 people, 23 other people. He is so detrimental to your game. Because you can look at him one way or another. You can look at a challenge. You can look at him at tribal. And he tells you very classy, with lots of class and expertise and intelligence, what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong. He's unreal. So, yeah, probably that one. He just said, come on, let's do this. No heaps, though.
Yeah, I know.
I asked him I asked him on the KFC challenge. I said, because he kept saying, do you want to take someone else? All right, choose someone else, Chrissy. Who are you going to take? I was like, I just want to take you. Like, this is a romantic date, great opportunity. They don't send cameras. Like, let's get it on. And he's like, retake that. She can't say that.
Yeah, I mean, look, if JLP was willing to stick it out past the season-long harassment that I think you were giving him, like, he was in it for the long haul. So it's super unfortunate to lose it. I know that a lot of people have said what you did about the final challenge, like the torture challenges, and how JLP would like lift people off the challenges. He'd be carrying them in his arms. And look, that's a wonderful segue into talking through someone who had probably the most iconic final challenge in Global Survivor history. Did JLP carry her off? We'll find out from her right now. Let's start at the very beginning, everyone. It was a great Kristie Bennett. Kristie, thank you for being here.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. And we're sad. Like, this is fucked up. Like, it's just fucked up.
It's big, eh?
Yeah. Like,
he did carry her, didn't he? He lifted her down.
Did he carry
No,
you?
he didn't. In the end, he was going to, but then my dad just like swooped on in and like,
and
just
you've never forgiven him.
Up and he's like, you need a hand. My dad was just like on another level. But you know what? If JLP had picked me up as well, I would have been a happy gal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would never forgive my dad if I was like, why are you carrying me? JLP is there. But it was the first season. He hadn't like worked it into his hosting duties yet that he was carrying people out of the challenge, because that's not usually what hosts do. But Kristie, you were there from the very beginning. You had his first tribal council. You were the first winner he ever hosted. How was your experience with JLP? Did you feel that it was his first season? So did you feel like he was like finding his footing, or like how did you watch that like first season evolution that you were there the whole time for?
So wild, because like we'd had speculations on who the host was going to be. I had like quickly Googled who it was while I still had my phone before I hit the island. And then when I got there, I was like, who's this JLP guy? And everyone's like, oh, you know, this is his brother and that. But that's all I knew. Oh. And so we hit the beat, like we jump off the trucks and it's just go. And he knows all of our names. I'm like, how does this guy know who I am? Like, not clocking the TV production side of that. He's probably seen my audition, all of that. But he threw the bag of buffs at me. And I just thought, holy shit, Survivor is starting. And I thought, yeah, this guy's going to be super pro, knows exactly what he's doing. But honestly, he was super pro, but he was figuring himself out and how far he could take it with us. Like, obviously, he's got someone in his ear telling him what to say at times. So sometimes you could tell he was getting fed more information. But as the season went on, you could tell when JLP started to just put in his own bits or like, not listen to whatever was being said in the ear.
And here we are today, leading to now he's off the show. And maybe that was the beginning of the end. Yeah.
No, but like I remember sitting down at that very first tribal council, and I can't remember if this is on air or not, but he literally was like, this is my first time doing this, guys. This is your first time. This is the first time it's ever being done in Australia. So we don't know what's going to happen. He's going to do our best and we're doing our best. And these days, I can't even imagine having to face JLP with the experience he has now, because he was learning as I was learning out there. So he is fierce now. The tribal councils must be intense.
Yeah, we're definitely going to get a lot of those more kind of recent people with JLP for the evolution. But Chrissy, I mean, you're a few seasons ago. Did you feel like he was intense, or did you feel like he was still like on your level? You were in love with him. You weren't scared of him.
I feel like he was both, and he was balanced perfectly. Like when he needed to be nice and humane to us, he was. When he wanted us to listen, we listened. When he was challenging us, like to be, you know, a bit more risky or have a bit more of a dig in there, he would. He just knew everything. I was so, he even had a zhuzha. Like I was starstruck, guys. I'm probably the worst person to be on here because now I'm just reminiscing of that body, those arms getting oiled. I remember one challenge took off and I was looking sideways because he had like an oil zhuzha who like sprayed oil on him to get him ready for the scene. And they're like, Chrissy, we're starting. I'm like, you guys go ahead. I'm good.
You were so distracted.
By
this man. I never won anything. But it's so funny that your dad lifted you off, Chris.
I never won anything.
He lifted me off, but I didn't even need lifting off. I just pretended my feet were really sore from the pegs, but I just wanted him to carry me.
Yeah, I'm hurt. Please help me. It's like this was like not a hard challenge. You're like, no, I can't. And look, and we
I
respect it.
mustn't fall.
Yeah. He's like, I will rescue you from the water. You're like, oops, I'm in the water. Like,
It wasn't
but
just
Kristie,
me. I'm not taking the hit for this. There has been a crush on him every cast. I'm sure of it.
I'm sure it's everyone, as you said, the guys and the girls. But Kristie, do you have like a number one memory that stands out to you that like sums up JLP?
Yeah, he was just kind of like.
It's probably an
Oh,
off-camera
sorry, babe.
moment though. Oh, sorry. Were you talking to Chrissy or me?
Sorry,
It was
I didn't
you,
hear
but
that.
I understand the issue is that your names are very similar.
Yeah.
No, okay. Well, Kristie, you tell us.
Oh, mine would be like an off-camera moment right before the very first immunity challenge. I had already had like this huge meltdown, like privately, kind of back on the beach, and I didn't know that he kind of like that people would know about it. I hadn't clocked on that everyone in production knows everything, but when I don't think he's allowed to talk to contestants off camera anymore, but he came up to me after they'd explained it, the rules, and was like, "Hey, Kristie, how are you going? Like, so nice to meet you. Good luck with the challenge." And it was just me, his Zhuja, and him. And in that moment, I was like, "This guy is so legit. He is actually gives a shit about the contestants. Like, there was no interference. It was just him being a real human being, which touched me like my heart so much out in this environment where you can feel so isolated, so alone, like surrounded by so many people you don't know."
Yeah.
And it was just like, wow, you actually give a shit. Like, yes, you're a host, but you're there.
So true.
Beautiful. How do I become the JLP Zhuja? Like that was a job. Was there like a seek out for that? Because I didn't know to apply, but very lucky person was. Yeah, actually, I had JLP's makeup artist in the first season of Talking Tribal, so I actually know who this is. Like, I actually had her as well.
That's her. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, she was. Yeah, I don't know how many seasons she was his Zhuja, but probably a lot of it. And imagine going from JLP to me. Like in many, I'm sure like the JLP Zhuja role must be so easy. It's like you're good to go.
You don't have to do much.
Umbrella and like patting down his sweat,
Water.
mostly the Molly,
patting down the
water,
sweat.
like
I'm all in.
and we're all standing there in the sun. Anyway.
Kristie, is there anything else you wanted to add about JLP before we start bringing in what is becoming an increasing roster of players?
I guess he's just being totally scammed. This is like the biggest load of bullshit. Like, he's the heart and soul of the show, and you can't. They didn't need to take him away. Like, yes, if you had ratings issues and things, the host was not the problem. You're making a bad move, and you're obviously not understanding what makes the game so great. So, JLP, you've been completely robbed, and you know, I'd play my idol for you if I had one right now.
Ah,
yeah. If only. Well, that's actually a great segue as well. Thank you so much, Kristie. I'm going to bring on someone who actually just entered, who I know has had a big day. I actually didn't expect to be able to come here today, but I'm going to bring him in. This is actually becoming a little bit chronological, and I'm going to take off Kristie, which is something I can do. Thank you so much, Kristie. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Someone, we mentioned idols. Well, here's someone who's had many of them. Simon, thanks for coming. Simon's had, I know, a big day. Didn't know if he could make it. Thank you for being here, Simon.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, Chrissy. I've got to duck off in a tick, but thanks for having us. I'm still in a little bit of shock. Hey, it's like it's pretty hard to wrap your head around for something like this. Like, I don't know, it's just something so special for me. Like growing up as a fan, and then coming to a survivor coming to Australia, and then watching JLP like enter and be part of like what this whole thing I aspired to after watching season 1, and then growing and then getting on the show myself, and then like when it all became real was like pretty damn cool to be a part of. And then watching JLP like in action and being there, like that was really cool. And then the one thing that really like stuck with me was I remember like listening to an interview with him that he gave, and he talked about the mechanics of tribal council and the dance that it is itself. That as the host, what you have to do to remember everyone's story, where they sit, how their relationships are with everyone else, and
Yes.
not give too much away to extract the right amount of information to like pick up on cues of what else is actually going on is a really, really difficult task. And he just managed to do that so seamlessly and so well. And then to actually sit there in tribal council and see the dance go on was awesome. And the way that that would just come together in this magical, like, magical little like bubble that you're in. And it would go for, for some of the long ones, 2 to 3 hours, like when you're there for that long.
Yeah.
And to not miss a beat, like that was just really, really special to see.
Because Shan, he's got to pretend he doesn't know what's happening, but he kind of does. But they're also feeding him stuff through his ear, because sometimes you hear it. Then he's got us say stuff, and if we're a bit confused or if we're a bit shook at the moment, we might get our part wrong. Like, just that's so valid, Sim. Like, people just think he's sort of reading an auto thing behind. Like, that's so true. Just how he orchestrates those.
Yeah. And the fact that it just feels, it just flows, and it feels like you're, it's the one real time that like there's no real cameras in your face or anything, because all the cameras are actually quite hidden at tribal council, and you just feel like you're sitting around the fire talking to it and talking to to JLP, and it was just so magical. So it's just such a fine line to balance and then dance along, and he did such a great job. So I'm still a little bit shocked, and don't really know how to feel about it all, to be honest.
Do you have a favorite memory, Simon? Did you ever fake an injury so he would carry you, or do you have something else that you
my favorite memory was in my first season. On the bottom of the tribal immunity idol, I carved out the tally of how many, like, who had won each time, like Brains v Brawn, and I tallied them up, like, and scratched it into the bottom, which was pretty cool. And one of the first times, like, JLP was walking past and we were like, waiting to, start the challenge kind of thing. And he was carrying the idol to the podium. I said, JLP, like, check out the bottom. And like, he flips it over and sees it. And he's like, oh, like, that's really cool. He's like, hey, did you do that? I'm like, yeah. And we stop. He's like, oh, I love that. He's like, yeah, respect, brother, or something along those lines. And it's just those little bits and pieces you pick up, like his passion for the game and how much he cared about, us and the players and stuff like that. Like, it was just the fire that he had for the game was just, like, in my eyes, just unbeatable. Really cool to see.
Like, it wasn't a job, eh? Like, he was there with us, and I'm sure you felt the same, Simon, because you're a big character as well. He sort of comes on the ride with you. He's not there for his pay packet. He's genuinely learning us as we go and how we're growing and stuff.
Yeah, it was really cool. Guys, I've got to run. I know you've probably got like a bunch of guests, but yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
And
bye. Oh no, Simon! I can't get this. It's Kristie off. I removed Simon while he was. Okay,
Peace out.
Thank you,
See ya.
Simon. Much love.
Bye,
right. He's gone now. Okay, we did it. Now we've got some alliances waiting for us backstage. Middle-Aged Mafia, look alive, because we've got many of them here today. With us here is 3 of the Middle-Aged Mafia: Eden, Mark, and Caroline. Hello, Eden.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Hello. How are you?
With a broken heart, we are
we're
here.
sad. No, we're really sad.
We're sad. We are sad.
We're sad.
We are sad.
Freaking devastating.
I know.
Yeah.
Look at Mark in mourning. Mark's got his morning hood on.
I've got a vigil.
Yeah.
Morning hood was a lot to say on this podcast tonight. Let me see the visual, Mark. What do you got? So you're wearing a hood out of just like sad, like
What is
sad
happening
hood.
here, Marky?
I don't know. I'm just dressing up. That's how I roll.
Did I
He has to stand out from the pack.
He's
I'm
got
just
a
sad.
candle.
I'm having a vigil. It's like a midnight vigil,
Yeah.
Like,
Got his-
paying my respects. But you got to be respectful.
Bro, he didn't die. He's coming back to the season.
I thought he died.
I did see a few people say, God forbid, but like the way they posted with like a black and white photo, I did see a few comments that were like, "Oh my God, you scared me." And I think the only way to be okay with him leaving the show is to have momentarily thought he died, God forbid, and then be like, hey, he's just leaving the show. It actually could be a lot worse. So no, but we are devastated. Caroline, did you ever fake any injuries to get JLP to carry you anywhere? How much was everyone harassing JLP?
No, but I was lucky enough to have his hands on my body.
Ooh. Tell us when and how.
I can see you.
I saw it.
Yeah, you saw it.
Look at this. I'm like this.
In the final challenge.
Yeah, in the final immunity challenge when I just couldn't hang on, I couldn't stand the pain any longer and I had to get down. I couldn't get down, and so I had to call him over and he had to carry me off the torture nails. Yeah. And because I couldn't stand, I couldn't do anything. I was just in so much pain, and so I called him over, and I actually had called him over, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes beforehand. Then I was like, no, I think I can do this, and I hung on for a bit longer, and then I couldn't hang on any longer. So he carried me off and laid me down, and he was beautiful. Yeah.
This podcast is getting weird. Is anyone else feeling that this podcast is getting very weird?
Well, I think from a female perspective, I mean, come on, like as Chrissy said, there's nothing. He's beautiful, like, and that's what we love about him. Like, he's not only just beautiful, but he has such a genuine nature that you can't help but be attracted to him in that way. Do you know what I mean? Like there is something really charismatic and something really special about him. And I know you guys feel the same, you know, like even though, exactly. So,
we've objectified JLP so much tonight. Eden, do you have anything you want to say about him that is positive, but maybe not objectifying him?
The thing about JLP that always struck me was he always came across that he genuinely loved the game and he loved being a part of it and he loved hearing what was going on and seeing it sort of unfold in front of him. I remember he called me out the very first match chat. I was going into the game going, you know what? I'm not going to tell everyone that I'm a super fan. I'm just going to try and play it pretty cool. First match chat, JLP just goes, Eden at the back there, you're smiling so much. You look like you are the biggest fan we've ever had on. You look like you're so excited to be here. I'm like, thanks, JLP. Blowing that up. It was great. And we had some great moments out there. Like I'm in the challenge where we just had to hold up the weights for the whole time. Spent most of that hour just chatting to him and just saying Survivor quotes at him. And like, JLP, do you think we have to dig deep now? And he's like, oh, Eden, you know you've got to dig deep at this point. I'm like, is this how we do it on Survivor? JLP goes, you know we do it like this on Survivor. And he was just loving it. But I think him calling you out is something really special in challenges. It's sort of a badge of honor if JLP is saying to you, Eden can't get that coconut in, or Eden misses again with that water. He can't get anything in today. And I'm like, JLP, you're not helping me, mate. And he's got that cheeky grin on his face. And so many people have had those little moments on challenges when he calls you out, and it's a lot of fun. It's so much fun. But I think the best memory I have of him is after I got voted out. Obviously devastated, and I had just done my final thoughts, and so I was pretty upset. And then production said to me, "Oh, can you just wait here for a second? We're just getting comms." I was like, "Oh, okay, what's happening?" And they're just like, "JLP just
Redemption Idol."
No, JLP he wants to meet you." Just quickly, because I obviously didn't make jury, so I was not gonna. I was going to be gone. Just missed out, and so they were like, "We just got to wait here." And then they took me back another way, and then JLP was just waiting for me outside his trailer, and we just had this. He's just like, "Man, I just had to have a chat with you." I'm actually getting emotional talking about it now because
that's beautiful.
It was actually an amazing thing that he didn't need to do, and we just had this chat. And he's like, "Man, I just saw how much you love the game out there, and every day, every time I see you out there, you were just loving it." And I'm so gutted you were going home, and it was just such a pleasure to meet you. We just had this little chat, and he was like, "So shattered, you're not on the jury. We're not going to see you," and stuff like that. And we just had, and it actually made me feel so much better. And it was, this is so dumb.
No, that's so beautiful, Eden. You're validated.
We love you.
It's just a special moment that sort of he didn't need to do. It was really, this is so wild.
No, it's beautiful. I mean, look, Redemption Island would have been nicer, But
Yes.
if you
Yeah.
can't have
Yeah.
Redemption
Yeah.
Island, a hug
Yeah.
from JLP.
Yeah,
It's
it was just
probably
really
That's
nice.
good.
Redemption Rock,
Yeah.
should I say? We're in Australia,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that's really beautiful. And I think that that's what it is. I mean, look, it's good. We've been talking about the beautiful body, but to talk about that beautiful heart, as you guys have spoken about,
Yeah.
and the way he really cared about the players. And you can see from his posts how upset all the players are. And you can't fake that, you know, like if you've connected with the players like that, that speaks
Yeah.
to his character. Mark,
Yeah.
did you have a favorite memory or something you really remember about JLP?
Yeah, like there was a few none that top Eden's, but I really liked how Eden was saying like the shout out during challenges, and I always felt that
Yeah.
and I posted about it earlier this week. Like he was always so surprised when I did well, which I was really grateful for, but he was always like, "Mark, swimming really fast. Wait, what?" It was just like genuine disbelief. And then he literally, like,
That's
the challenge
gold.
ended, and then he's like, "Mark, where the hell did that come from?" And I'm like, "I've been telling people I'm a good swimmer. I don't know why you don't believe me." And then literally, like, there was like one we were holding weights up with our legs, and he's like, "And Mark, he looks like he's been dying since the first 5 seconds of the challenge," which I had been. And then he's like, he's somehow still in the challenge. And so then after a while, I think he realized that I was like half decent in
Good.
challenges.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then at one point I was like, "Come on, let's dial it up, JLP." And he's like, "Mark, the psychopath, wants to do it even harder." And I was like, yeah. So then yeah, like ultimately it was really fun getting when I won the car. Like I was obviously emotional, and the bloody like it showed when he was a good host, because I was like trying not to be emotional, and he was like, "Mark, you seem really emotional." I'm like, "Shut up, JLP. I'm trying to keep it under wraps." You know?
Yeah.
And he's like doing the production thing, and then when you like the loved ones come out to visit, he was really nice to my wife, which is really nice as well because she's a big fan. And so he was like, "Hey, Sass." I was like, "JLP, here's Sass," and he was like, "Hey, Sass, I'm JLP," and we're like, "Oh, this is really fun. Should we go have coffee?" But anyway, we did that awful challenge, and that was it. So yeah, no, it was really fun, and he treated people with respect. I also did find it quite funny when he couldn't remember someone's name, or like when he got our tribes mixed up. Sometimes he was like, "Now, rebels, you're going to do this," and we're like, no, that's the Titans.
No.
And he was like, "Oh."
This is not anything. I mean, he popularized calling them blue and red, Chrissy. We were like, blood and water makes no sense as tribe names, right? And he from the beginning was like, "Nah, I'm refusing that one. They're blue and they're red."
I couldn't keep up.
Yeah. I know. And there were so many, especially after we swapped, and you could just see like I don't know, maybe he hadn't had enough coffee, but yeah, like he was always professional, but I always did chuckle when we had to like correct him on like, "No, that's Jaden," you know, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, but no, I love JLP, and hope he takes Jeff's job, because he'd do a better job over there.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's a little birdie. Yeah, I heard that
Dream.
too.
That's
Yeah.
a spicy take, but look, we're very upset. Does anyone else from the Middle-Aged Mafia have anything else that they would like to say about JLP? I mean, it is interesting that we do say with the people who make it, you know, towards the end but don't win, that there's no prize money in Australian Survivor like the US, but the prize is clearly touching JLP. Is it worth $100,000 US? Only
Yes, it is.
Chrissy and Caroline can really speak to that. But yeah, does anyone else have anything they want to say about JLP in this very sad but also fun farewell that we're doing?
I just wanted to, I think one thing that he tries to disguise, but we can see it all, is his intellect. He's obviously a super, super smart guy. And when we were doing that final immunity challenge, I knew that he was a doctor, but I'm a midwife. And so we started, he just shouted out, you know, he said, "You're a midwife, right?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "I remember catching my first baby." And so we went on during the challenge to talk about him catching his first baby. Yeah, it was really
And he does
beautiful.
it all.
Pardon?
He does it all. Also, what a lucky baby.
Yeah, it was when he was a student doctor. But it was just really lovely for him to, you know, bring up such a beautiful conversation through a really, really tough time, and obviously distracted us very, very well. What were you going to say?
No, it's just like when you're saying all these really nice, like, he was still harsh as well, like when he needed to be. And if he wanted Geordie or someone, he was poking the bear heaps for our tribals and stuff to trying to get Mark and everyone to bite. But he was also so soft. Like, he had a gulp when he called my kids out because we were in that COVID bubble. I'm not sure if you guys know, but we got to go to Charters Towers when you were in the Maldives. So unfair.
I'm sure Samoa was the Maldives, but anyway.
And it's Charlie's trousers.
I had red dirt. Yeah, come on. Mine was Dogsville. But he called my kids out. He's like, Chrissy, you know, I know you've been missing them. He went from being like a hard ass saying, you pitch this. This is your last chance to make them choose you. You know, don't stuff around here, to like, bring your babies out. You know, that's you can't fake being a genuinely nice person. That's what I just got from him. He was just so kind all the time. And don't forget, Simon just said it then. He's not allowed. Oh no, it was Kristie. She said at the beginning he was allowed to talk, Shan, to the contestants. So for us, he wasn't. He didn't. Let me be very clear. He didn't talk a lot. He did when it was little challenges and indirectly, but he wasn't allowed to mingle with us at all. And I just spent the entire 8 weeks trying to have conversations with him one-on-one, trying to get deep, posing, the whole bit. And it wasn't until the last, like, 3 days that he started talking openly to me. And I was like, gotcha. I gotcha.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Well, it sounds like
You
what
are
you're
nice.
saying, Caroline, is that in the challenges, a lot of you would, like, the endurance challenges were like your time where it's like, JLP is allowed to talk to us, and now we're going to talk to him. Is that, like, a space that you were trying to focus on? Also, now I can talk to JLP and also try win this challenge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think everybody took every opportunity to speak to him when they could. There was not one person that didn't grab that opportunity when they could to have some kind of discussion with him. And, you know, I know these two guys, you know, loved bantering with him. So it was really fun. I can't imagine what it's going to be like without him. I know. It just really baffles me as to why they did it. I need to know why, but also I just don't understand why they got rid. Like, he was one of the best parts of Australian Survivor, and I think you can see from all the Discord online that everyone is just shocked and up in arms, and there's petitions going, and it's like, why did they need to make this decision now?
Yeah.
Let's
not be sad. Let's just celebrate life.
No sad. I'm hoping that in a real weird take on it all, he asked for what he deserves, which is about 5.5 mil an episode, and they couldn't afford him. I'm hoping that, and I'm hoping that he left. I'm going to flip it on its head and say JLP wanted mega money and 10 couldn't afford him, because that's the only way that I'm going to feel okay about it. I'm saying he left. They didn't say.
But wouldn't it be a negotiation? Sorry, Mark, you go.
I thought that. I think that the thing was that JLP kept on asking for Chrissy to return, and the production was like, "Oh," and he's like,
We're not taking
if Chrissy's not coming back, I'm out." That's
the last line of his contract that he's put in.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't understand why JLP was let go until 30 minutes ago when we started this podcast. And now I'm starting to get it. If I'm in those meetings, I'm like, all the contestants are so distracted. They're spending the challenges trying to talk to JLP. They're just trying to touch him. There's maybe some harassment things happening. It's getting into a legal problem. Maybe this is actually detracting from what we're trying to do. I'm now, the picture's being painted.
There's no way, if I was a bloke and JLP was a female host, there is no way.
Just call it out.
I would get away with it. No way. I was so inappropriate.
You would not, Chrissy. But Chrissy, you can get away with anything. That's usually because you can. But we're all doing it. Let's be honest. And this podcast has been inappropriate, and I will not hear it in the comments. All right. We've had a fun time. Middle-Aged Mafia. Is there anything else you want to say about JLP? This has been so beautiful, so funny and emotional. Anything else from any of you?
He's just a great buddy host.
Let's bring in the Coven.
Oh wow. Okay. Beat me to the punch of the surprise I have in the waiting room.
It's gonna be a very different Survivor without him, and I just wonder what that's going to look like. And I feel like he has had such a presence in Australian Survivor, and just even listening to all the overseas
so many
players. So many of them have commented.
They're hating, aren't they? Probably because it's only because DG just took all their money. Let's be honest; those Yankees are livid at DG. But
But like
I
Rick
don't like that
Devens,
tall
Rick Devens
poppy.
has just
Yeah.
Rick Devens has just flown back from filming 50. His second post was, "Oh, I can't believe they just got rid of JLP." Like that's the
Yeah.
second thing he posted about after coming back from season
Oh,
50.
wow.
This is so
Chrissy
funny.
doesn't know who Devens is. Chrissy didn't know who Boston Rob was, so that's
I don't know.
gonna
I
be-
know 50.
Chrissy,
No, I know
Chrissy,
50. I know 50
No,
because
50. Good.
when I did my thinking, when my big thinking cap came on that he's going to go take over America, 50's just finished. Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Last.
Thank you.
There you go.
It's all falling
Okay.
into place.
Middle-Aged
Thank
Mafia,
you.
this has been a delight.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
Love you, ladies.
Love you.
Bye.
Love you guys. Okay, I keep cutting people off too quickly, and yet
Oh, the
here we
cut-off-
are.
the
All right,
cut-off's
let's see.
hilarious.
We have people. This is going to be chaos. We put out the call. I put out the call to a lot of people on short notice. Thank you to the people who put their time aside tonight. And I put out the call and a lot of women said, yeah, let's just be frank. Let's bring on a whole alliance of them. This is going to be iconic because we have the entire, if I can find them, Coven here
Where's Logs?
today. Laura, Logan, Karin, and Zara. Logan is calling in from the football. This is wonderful. How are you guys? Sad and also we're happy to be here. How's everyone doing?
Shooketh to the core.
I'm shocked.
Yes. Okay. We're all very sad. Let's
It's a weird.
No, Logan, please. You're in a bathroom at the football. Tell us how you're feeling. You deserve to speak.
Sorry. If you guys can hear the crowds behind me, just pretend they're cheering for JLP or me, whatever it is. That I'm literally in a bathroom.
It's a really close.
Go Dogs, let's go. No, it's just been really, really strange. I feel it's like this weird sense of like mourning, but it's also like I feel so grateful in the way that we are the last sort of newbie season of the last people that we're ever going to stand on a mat in being introduced to Australia and the world as this is the newest season of Survivor. I mean, I guess that happened with Osby the World, but everyone already knows who they are. So it was such a really special moment now reflecting on it, being like, we were the last that are ever going to be announced by JLP, and it's sad. It's really sad.
It is.
Yeah.
I remember the first thing
Oh, Laura,
I said
tell
on
us. Yes.
camera ever was that I was excited to see JLP's muscles. That was like the first. They were like, "What do you want to tell JLP?" I'm like, "I love your muscles." That was like the first thing I ever said on camera.
Yeah. Do we have? Well, we can objectify if we want, but do we have favorite memories? Zara, do you have a favorite JLP memory?
My favorite JLP memory is definitely when we were in the challenge where we were hanging off the side of it, which eventually Kaylin won, as we did with everything. But it was just that moment where we had taken so long to get dry. We were drenched. Every single item of our clothing was drenched. And then JLP said, and now I've got a little surprise for you, and turned water on our head. And I was so incredibly furious that I'm like, oh, JLP, that was uncalled for. And just started like yelling at him. And he just laughed his head off at me. He just stood in front of me laughing and just watching me get saturated. And I was like, thanks very much.
The JLP laugh. Does anyone love the laugh as much as me? It's such an iconic Wolverine style laugh. And
There's two types of laughs.
Tell me.
The first one is where he understands that it's funny, so he goes, "Ha ha ha."
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Is when he actually is caught off guard and finds it funny, and it's like a, it's like a, but he has two types of laughs.
That's really
There's
good.
the laugh
He does when
Wonderful.
he's like genuinely like enjoying the fact that we like it was the Bounty Baron twist where we were devastated, annoyed, mortified, and he's just hissing himself laughing at Paulie, and it's so good. I didn't realize it at the time because I was like, I'm also incredibly annoyed, but just the rapid fire devastation as we turned our palm over and we found the rock that sent us to Bounty. Oh, sorry, Baron. Wow. Chef's
You're
kiss.
annoyed. I had to spend more time in the jury by myself.
Yeah.
For you.
I think like just the way that he is such an interactive host and he thinks on the fly. And I just also remember that challenge where Logan and I were trying to negotiate our way off hanging like sloths. And he was helping us. He was the key negotiator in ferrying back messages between us and
Yeah.
Kate, because Logan and I were like, we're going to win this reward. Let's get off this stupid thing. I don't think this is being hot. This is gross. I'm sweaty. Like the two of us
We
were
just
talking,
wanted a cocktail.
what can we come up with? Yeah, we're like, how do we go to the cocktail party and stop being in the sun here? And JLP was like, I'll give her a message if you want to give her a message. And we're like, yeah, off you go. Run up the other end and get us off this thing.
I love it. Well, Logan, you have to go back to the football that your husband is playing in.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite memory before you?
I do.
Before you do that?
I do. And I'll jump out after this because I'm a bit loud in here. But the Coven girls will know all about this. And when we were out there, I was a bit unsure of JLP because it felt really like we weren't allowed to speak to him a lot. It was all in challenges. It was at Tribal, and even sort of after the challenge, after Tribal, it was very cut and dry, and just we had to leave, and there was no talking from production. But we all ended up after Drewville when we were on our way home. We're at the airport just having a little drink and like having something to eat, and we just have some random come up behind us, and they're like, hey, were you guys just on Survivor? And I was like, oh my God, we've just finished recording. Who is it? And we look up and it's JLP, and he's at the airport with us. And he just was like, oh my goodness. And he sat with us for like, it was like half an hour before the flight, and he just wanted to chat. He just wanted to shoot shit. He just wanted to talk. And it was the most amazing experience because we got to see him in his role, in his job, like doing everything amazingly at the challenges, at Tribal, at everything. And then he came up just so open and so honest and just wanted to talk to us. And it felt like, oh no, he genuinely cares about us. Like he genuinely was proud of us. He loves the season. Like he knows so much. And it was just one of the best moments of just him coming up to us, like at the airport and being like, hey, besties, let's chat. And I'm like, oh my God, bestie, hey. It was great. We had some great pics. Like it felt like he was fangirling over us more than us over him. So that was like a really, really fun moment. And we have a nice few Coven pics from that little moment at the Samoa airport, which was really lovely. But it just proved how beautiful he was as a person. And I think the hard thing, and I've chatted to Laura about this as well, but I think the thing about hosting something like Survivor is it's not just about you calling out in the challenges and knowing the players' names and being able to comment that. It's about being able to sit there at Tribal and listen to 12 people wanting to talk and hearing them whisper in the background and being on it, constantly listening to the person that's talking to you and having respect for what they're saying, as well as keeping your eye on the fact that there might be 3 other people whispering in the background and keeping an eye on that to then ask your next question. And he has developed this over, it's like nearly 10 years, or I'm not sure how long it's supposed to be going on, but it's been a long time. It's been about 7 years, 7, 8 years, whatever. But he has done so well at honing his craft. And I think he is going to be absolutely sorely missed. I think he was in his prime of Survivor. I think when you look at JLP now, and I think a lot of the American fans can say the same, it reminds me of the old school era of Jeff Probst. Like that's what it reminds me of when everyone loved Jeff, when they were like, he is the show. To me, Australian Survivor is not much without JLP because he is the show. The casts make it what it is, but he is incredible at his job. I'm so sad about the news. I wish it wasn't true. I wish there was something that could be changed. I don't know, but it's devastating because he is such an integral part of Australian Survivor, and I'm Devo.
So well said. So well said from a disabled bathroom at the
Thank
football.
you. Thank you.
so impressive and so committed.
I'm going to jump off now because I don't want to
go Bulldogs.
But love you, my Coven. Thank you for having me, Shannon, and love you, JLP. I wish you so well.
Bye, Logan.
Bye, team.
Bye, Logan.
Do I know how to take her off? I think. She did it herself. Wonderful. Other favorite moments. Laura, do you have a favorite JLP moment?
One of them actually includes Zara, which is our first tribal council, where he asked Zara a question. He goes, so Zara, and she goes, oh, JLP, you know my name. And he handled it so well, because at that point there were a few of us who hadn't been spoken to yet, like on the mat. And he goes, so Zara, and she goes, she was like, she's so quick-witted, and he just like came straight back, which I loved that moment. I was like, ooh.
He brought it up to the next challenge. I think I walked up to the next challenge and he went, oh, and Zara? And Zara was like, oh.
It was very funny. I love that. It really showed his intelligence, how quick-witted he is. And then when, Bounty Baron got announced, I did this like kind of flip of the table from the jury bench because I was like, another night by myself. And while they're all kind of talking, deciding who's going to go to Bounty Baron, he and I were just like talking. He was like, what do you think's happening? I'm like, I have no idea. JLP, I don't know how I got voted out. So what do you think's happening? Can you tell me anything? And we were just talking the entire time. It was very fun.
It's nice to be able to talk to JLP. Clearly, everyone's primary goal on Survivor, as we have learned tonight. Karin, did you have a great memory with JLP?
Mine was just like every tribal, and obviously like I have no control over my face, and I would try very hard to just maintain a neutral expression, and something would happen, and obviously my face would just go, and then like a lightning, JLP just go, Karin. Big reaction, and then I'd be caught off guard and have nothing to say, and then I would like mumble like a dimwit, because like that's what you want. You want JLP to notice you, but you also want to be like the smart, witty person that says, oh, yeah. And I never was. It was just like, oh, God, don't look at me.
I was just going to say, I want to hear more of the memories, but we have, we've lost someone from Times Rebels. I want to bring on our last person to have in the waiting room. I wanted to bookend with our earliest, our most recent winner. So he's not in the Coven, but I don't know if he can be honorary Coven tonight. Myles, I'll bring you on with everyone else right here, but we're still going to hear all the memories. Myles, how are you doing?
Hello. I'm very sad. I'm mourning as everyone else is. It's rough. Obviously, JLP is like part of what has made Australian Survivor so good over the last decade that it's been around. But I'm trying to stay hopeful about what could come and trying to stay open to whatever comes next. Obviously, the rumors and whatnot. But yeah, it's sad. It's definitely sad.
Yeah, well, I don't want to cut off. Did I cut off some of your memories, Karin? Do you have more memories that you needed to get out in the therapy session? Because I want to hear them.
I was going to mention, mainly this is just psychotic of me, but like when I found out that JLP was a doctor, I looked up his medical license just for like shits and giggles. Just to make sure it was valid. It is valid.
Of course it is. And I kind of wish we have a lot of the graduates here, not Kaylin, because one of my favorite, and I know it's recency bias possibly, but the moment where Kaylin is telling him not to blow up his spot, and then we get the first JLP laugh. I can't do it as well as you, Laura.
Laura does it good.
Oh no, what did I do?
I can't do it. That's so.
What was it? The laugh is amazing. When you can get like that solid, hearty laugh out, like those are the moments that you remember. Every time you get it, it's just it's quality.
When he's really laughing, he gets kind of caught off guard. He's like, "Oh, that was funny." He gets like, he's like,
because then he's kind of nervous, like it's not in the script, but. I think my best laugh memory, and that's when I knew that I was going to be able to make him laugh. We went to the very first tribal, and I'd found an idol, and I didn't know what to do with it, and I knew I had to play it.
Was it where Shay and you ran for the idol and you grabbed it?
Yeah. And I was like, what am I running for? But I got told to run for it, so I run for this chip. And then JLP, he goes, I've never been to one. I've never seen one. Croc never told me what one was. And JLP goes, okay, guys, so if you've got an idol, this is the time to play it. And I'm like, I'll play it. And he goes, no, Chrissy, wait, I'll tell you when to do it. And he looks over at the camera crew and he's like, does she know, like, I've got a whole segment to go. And I'm like, sorry. And he just starts laughing and everyone's like, shit, like it's the first one. We can't do this with her for fucking 8 weeks.
That's why she'll probably get voted out soon.
What it was. They told me like, that's the thing you wear here and it helps you. And oh man. Anyway, he laughed properly then, and that was my goal, to make him laugh again.
Yeah, and he had to deal with that for
to get noticed by JLP. I don't think it's like $500,000. It's, did JLP smile at me today?
Yeah, once you start getting that like bouncing off him rapport, like that's when you know you've won like your Survivor experience. Is just like once he's bantering with you, once he's giving you a little bit of shit regularly in the challenges. I had one where during the challenges, I went to the Christian Hibiki School of Chatting in Challenges, where I was constantly look at everyone else.
Chrissy, don't know who that is. He's on 50, Chrissy.
But JLP gets really bored during some of the endurance challenges. Like you can really see it because obviously you're there for like 40 minutes, 50 minutes, whatever. And so he would enjoy when you'd be yapping a little bit sometimes. And one thing I did is I really worked on my JLP impersonation, and that was a lot of fun. And so I go back and forth with JLP doing JLP.
Do it right now. Do it right now.
Yes. Oh God, I'm out of practice.
Do it right now, Myles. Of course, if you're gonna bring it up, I'm gonna ask you immediately. Do. I hope it's better than Chrissy's, which was.
Yeah. Okay, we'll see.
Like what? I don't know what was happening there.
My go-to was like Karin looking solid as a rock.
Pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
My favorite is Myles going, Myles drowning under, and then JLP going, Myles trying to impersonate me and choking.
But there was one specific one that I remember getting the laugh out of him that I was so proud of, where I was we were up on the hanging from the things, and I say something along the lines of like, and this didn't make the edit because this can't make the edit, but I was like, Kaylin, body looking hot as hell like muscles bulging, body looking hot as hell up on that thing or whatever. And I got like a full on unexpected like laugh break from him. And I just like thought, okay, that's me. I've done it. I've won. But I think what is really good about JLP is the way in tribals, I think he's really mastered the ability to give conversation like some breathing space. Like he knows when to like come in and press and when to be asking questions, but also when to just step back and like let everyone fight and let everyone argue and whatnot. Yeah. And I think that's like a really surprisingly difficult job to do, and especially as someone who's been around as long as he is and is like the face of the franchise, basically, to have that kind of humility to just step back and know when it's his place to interject versus not. Yeah, I think that's really impressive.
Yeah, for sure. Zara, do you have anything that stands out to you about JLP?
Well, now that we have Myles here, our season was definitely characterized by Myles attempting to talk to JLP as much as possible during the challenges. So I think we can all agree with that. And to the point where a lot of the time I would say to JLP, please just move down that way and talk to him so that at least he was like, I can't listen any longer. What is going on? It's just like, I think Myles again thought it was strategy, like that was, I don't know, somehow further propel him in the game.
I'm throwing everyone off in the challenges. I'm trying to mess with their heads.
But you are annoying them when they go back. Like then that those people still exist when they go back to camp and have to vote. Myles, like you won the game, not from me. That like I can't criticize them. I'm just saying
you did something right, buddy.
The squeeze. Yeah, exactly. But look, I mean.
Yeah, I just remember JLP being like, does he want to actually speak to me or does he want to just speak to anyone? And I'm like, I think it's you specific, JLP, but just don't test it out. Just go down there and talk to him to make him stop.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, well, I think let's see, not me, I wasn't on the show. I mean, I interviewed JLP a couple of times and that was enough, that time, that small amount of time. But does anyone else have anything that they want to say?
Called you an ex-Survivor player. It's on like.
They changed that. They changed the Sydney Morning Herald. They said ex-contestant. I was like, oh, they watched Equilibrium. They saw the online game we played. Shout out to Equilibrium. Does anyone have anything else they want to say about JLP? Maybe in a hand-raising capacity because there's quite a lot of people. Does anyone? Nope. People don't want to raise their hands. That's shocking to me. Oh, Laura. Okay, Laura. Yes, but say it in JLP voice. No, it's fine.
No, I'm not. I can't do an American accent, but like, he doesn't really have that one. It's
like an American accent? No,
slightly.
He really does.
No, but just some words. Just some words.
He just lives in America, right? So it's
Chris.
It's a slut. What was I going to say? No, I feel like before with Kristie, she was talking about how he could talk to them. And now I feel like we entered the well-oiled machine. And there were parts where I felt like I was, in the well-oiled Survivor world. But he never made us feel like that. He never made us like we were so important to him. And what we were saying, he was so genuinely curious about. And that was a really lovely experience that he gave like all of us, Yeah.
Because it's all of our like biggest dreams for like, I don't know, when you go in and you're on the map for the first time, it's like an out-of-body experience, him saying your name. Like the first time you hear it, you're just like, oh.
Yeah.
And it's hearing him go, come on in, and you're like,
the tribe has spoken. Wait, no, that's not that.
And you're like,
when we win it.
Ken asking for that hug too.
The mat.
You know, our first match had, and Ken asked him for a hug. That just will always
Yeah.
stay in my
What
mind.
happened? Did he say no?
No, he said
he
yeah.
gave
He
him a
gave him a big old hug.
I gave him a hug.
I said yes.
Chrissy's so jealous right now. Chrissy's like, oh man,
I'm
why didn't
so
I do that?
mad.
All you have to do
Yeah,
is
and then
ask.
all of us were like, "What
Yeah.
about? I want a hug." Can
And then there's like a line, and everyone's
Yeah.
just lining up to
Everyone
hug
takes
Jacob.
it.
Crew members are
Right.
lining up. Samoan locals are lining up.
Really cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't
the
imagine again
smell.
why production wanted
Wait.
this out of the way.
I forgot about his smell.
Wait, he smells good. I haven't smelled him. What does he smell like?
Okay, what does he
Yeah,
smell
I'm-
like, Chrissy?
Is he
He
okra?
smelled like he smelled like garlic sea crackers, like
No,
a sea
not right.
sea biscuit.
sea biscuit. What?
Wait,
Sea biscuit.
no, wait, you guys had salt water. We had dirt. Like he smelled like sour.
He smelled sour. Wait,
Was
he's
he
already been
sweet?
fired this
Was it
week. We don't have to go defame him and say he smelled sour at the end of the book.
Salty vinegar.
Salty vinegar.
How long were you hugging him to define a smell like that?
Did you like?
Actively
I don't know.
smelling
Stick your
it.
nose.
I think I licked him. I think I licked him. He was salty.
Okay, not only
He was
should JLP
sweating.
not have been let go, but I'm pretty sure he's entitled to compensation. So maybe
I'll pay him. Whatever.
In my head, he smells like coconut lotion. That's what he smells like.
like
Yeah.
what?
Coconut tanning lotion, like the Hawaiian tropics, like coconut
Yeah.
tanning oil.
Yeah,
That's what he
that's
smells
it.
Body oil.
No, in my
I
head,
didn't
he
get-
smells
I
like
didn't
Old
get that.
Spice. That's what I've
Old
got in my
Spice.
head.
Old Spice.
Yeah.
No,
No.
he's too classy.
No.
He's too classy for that. That'd be a
You
camera.
think
No,
smells sour.
JLP's not classy. JLP's like, he's got that like, no, he's a classy man, but he's also got that like that grounded,
He's a
down to
sicko.
earth vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like all
he's,
these
Trading
jokes.
VO.
he's the man of the
jokes
people.
like, pull on the nutsack.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's his
It's
joke, not mine.
classy.
Chrissy's,
Nut.
what does he say? Chrissy's
Flogging
flogging
her
her
nut.
pole or something, and I was like, Chrissy's what?
Chrissy does
Yeah,
not
those are-
flog the
Jesus.
pole.
Yeah, there's
Chrissy's
a lot of
riding that
polls.
pole or something so
Yeah,
yeah,
inappropriate.
definitely
And I'm like,
polls.
yes, I am.
Yeah,
Nut
Thank
after
you.
nut.
Leave Chrissy on her
nut
pole.
after nut.
Oh,
The ball
Karin.
jokes. This has
yeah.
been an incredibly inappropriate podcast.
Sorry, guys.
So many different reasons.
No,
I
but
refuse.
that's JLP's
That's
an incredibly
JLP.
inappropriate
That's
man.
JLP.
So this is that's what I mean. Like this is not. That's what we love about him is that he's not classy. He's not like
You
a prim and
respect
proper
this.
TV host.
And
He
then
takes the
homage
piss a
your
bit.
JLP.
He has a lot of
Does everyone
fun.
make their favorite nut joke? Thank you. An homage to
Their
JLP.
favorite
Everyone has a good
nut joke.
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
they all blend together at a point.
No, we didn't have coconut.
Trust
We just
the
had,
nut. That
we
was
had
him.
poles,
Trust the
poles
nut.
and balls.
Busting nut after nut.
Busting nut after nut is obviously one that's really,
Yeah,
yeah,
Oh,
brains
loading
opening
his
their
wad.
sack.
What?
Hmm?
Loading his wad.
He did
Yeah.
not say that.
Yeah. Yes. We got
Okay.
He's got a good
Flogging
sense of
the
humor.
pole? No, no one else.
Which one?
Gee, we're gonna miss.
I just
well,
wanted
hope-
everyone's best nut joke.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That fell
definitely
so flat.
the dropping of the sack on our season was a good one that I really
Sacks
liked.
were
It
a
was
big
like,
one.
Yeah, with the brains have released their sacks
Balls.
or whatever it is.
Big
Yeah.
big balls for us.
But hopefully that's
people.
one that the Golden God can can bring instead is he can bring his own nutsack and ball dropping jokes.
I
You
can't
gotta
picture it.
earn the ball dropping jokes though. They don't just come. You have to earn it. You know? I mean, they do.
Oh.
just anyway.
Careful.
Nuts are not given.
Alrighty.
Nuts are earned.
Guys, I feel like this was really beautiful and like Eden's story and like all this was so wonderful. But we did get to nut jokes and saying that he smells sour, which again, I just refuse and I might edit out of the podcast because what? It has to be a better note. Does anyone have something beautiful to say? Does anyone have
Yes.
something?
Licked him. We have to get that in.
What the
That's how much
Chrissy
they
lick?
put it
That's
back.
I'm
I
not
just-
editing, I'm
that's just
joking.
cheeky.
But like he's
That's
an
the
enigma,
cheeky
Shannon.
part.
Like he can
Yeah.
smell
Repping a
so
bit.
different to everyone, and we're all smelling the same person. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's JLP.
Yeah.
He's Old Spice, and he's a biscuit for some reason,
I-
and he's
A salty
coconut
biscuit.
oil.
I
He- what you
I
want
just
him to
really
be.
like he So bringing it back, it's very clear the level of enthusiasm for the game that he has. Like for example, I played a few idols on our season, and every time I would walk up and I'd play it, he'd have this like big fat grin on his face, like he's just so excited that stuff is happening. Like, and you can tell because there's some tribals when there's not a lot happening, and you can just tell like, oh, he's asking the questions, but he's not as into it because there's just not much happening. It's a straightforward vote. Versus when there's something happening in a tribal, when there's a tribal that's exciting, you can see he's locked in and he's having a great time. He's just got his cheeky little smile and he's asking those little probing questions. And when you go up and you play your idol, he just looks so happy. And when he's like reading out so and so does not count, Logan does not count, Myles does not count, whatever, you can just see he's just loving the drama and he's loving the experience and he's loving all of it, and it's amazing.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful enough. Does anyone else have something solely beautiful to say without dragging it into weird territory, which no one can be trusted on?
We kind of went there,
I won't say
guys.
anything, I promise. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, Laura,
when he gives you the nod the first time to vote,
the nod.
The nods to vote, and he knows it. We're all like, there's 12 people just staring at him in the eye, just so excited to get there.
And we're
yeah. When you said 12 people staring at him in the eye, I think this needs to be said, like in the scope of global Survivor, especially where US Survivor is right now, Chrissy, they have really small tribes now, just to give the context. Like he is doing these like massive like 12, 11, 10 person tribes on like that is a lot. And managing all of that chaos, I mean, it's exponential. Like we talk about it, the amount of different relationships you can have and the amount of different relationships he will have to each contestant to have those dynamics. And the fact that he can manage that, and that even within how many contestants everyone is so positive, really speaks well to him. I think that was nice. That was nice and not weird. Okay, that was something.
Nice.
Does anyone else have anything else before Chrissy and I don't know, land this plane somehow?
Before we crash?
Yes. Well, it's just like hovering, kind of.
There's so many. The internet went wild. I got a little word about this a couple of weeks ago. I said there's no way. Yes.
Must have been sad.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know the exact date because I was like,
crying.
What?
Yeah.
And my source was decent, so I was like, oh man, this is wild. And then it kind of started escalating. The internet blew up, and not just to Survivor fans, because we're a little cult. We know we're a little Survivor cult, but people who don't even love the show. It was on radio, all those newspaper articles were ringing, and I thought, my God, it is a big deal. Like, he is definitely Survivor. If you talk about Survivor, you then go JLP, and then you go where you go and what you do, don't you reckon? Like, the guy's definitely the representation to me of what Survivor has sort of grown into over the years, because I've only watched it recently. But I cannot tell you the DMs, the messages, the phone calls that I've had, because everyone knew that I just, whatever, my ridiculous little crush. But everyone was like, holy shit, Chrissy, is this real? Like, can you believe this? Like, people are so mad and so devo. And I would love to hear what actually did go down and how it went down soon. But I also want to say, David's going to be great, and I don't.
We don't know if it's David. Allegedly, we don't know anything.
Allegedly.
We talked about the rumors.
99% of the population saying it's him. I did wonder if it might be Georgie. Okay. I did think it could be Georgie for a while.
Imagine Georgie boy.
Imagine anyone. It's so hard to imagine anyone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Imagine Myles.
Whoever it is. Good luck. You want Survivor to be successful. I hope they can bring what JLP brought, and good luck. That's all you can say. You just got to be. He was the man, and we'll see who's going to fill his shoes.
Yeah. Does anyone else do we have for the Coven with Myles stepping in for Logan right now? Does anyone else have anything else before I unceremoniously bump you from this? The tribe has spoken.
The tribe has spoken.
All right. Goodbye, Coven, but not Chrissy. Goodbye. Where is it?
Bye, guys.
Chrissy, this has been such a lovely time. This was so great. This was what I needed. This is what I think a lot of people maybe needed. A little bit of a celebration of life of his Survivor life, because he didn't actually die, thank God. But
Marky thinks he did.
Yeah. Well, look, I was also I had the blanket on and everything like that.
Yeah, look, it wasn't great.
It is sad. It is sad.
It's
Chrissy,
sad,
you know,
and that's just a quick little peek at how much the contestants love him. You can't get there. You said to me, we've sent out some. I had so many people saying, I can't get on. I want to be on Shannon's tonight. I can't do it. Do another night. I want to be on Shannon's.
oh,
Everyone wants to talk to you about him. You know, like it's as simple as that. And not everyone could have done it tonight, but I just think I hope he listens. I hope he sees this, because he will be so sorely missed. And
creeped out.
It is what it is. But yeah, bigger and better things for him, I hope.
Well, he'll if he listens to this, he'll be like, "When did you smell me?" And what was like? I think some of it
He knows.
will. Oh, he knows. Okay,
knows.
good. But if there's anything he's learning in this podcast,
And my husband knows.
good. I hope that's a very open secret between you and your husband.
It's a whole pass. It's okay. He knows. He's aware. I think he's
like, at least you like weren't showering through this 50 or so days you spent with your crush. At least he's
Thank you.
Yeah.
Did try and take him to the day spa. We all know how that turned out.
Yes. Can you imagine? Imagine if they did throw it. That would be such good content. If we had known it was his last season, I would have loved to see him like in a robe with a bottle, with a glass of champagne, the shower scene.
I hope world he's got some spark.
That's true. He has a whole nother one.
He's got.
I forget about that. I'm like, oh yeah, we still have a whole other season with JLP.
I wonder if he knew then, girl. I wonder if he knew.
I don't know. In his statement, he kind of made it seem like he just found out, like maybe after you did.
Yeah, it was. It was this kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I think that this was really beautiful. I did have a couple of requests, Chrissy. A couple of years ago. Well, what happened was we used to. Okay, take it back. JLP and his inappropriate comments. So JLP used to have a Twitter account where he would tweet similar things, a lot of the inappropriate jokes and stuff, and he would kind of also make fun of the show, like very like JLP humor that I'm sure like production and PR were helping him with. Not that he needs it, but like I'm sure it was part of the system. But we loved it, and we would read out JLP tweets on the podcast every week. And then JLP got hacked, and his it was so sad, and they like changed his DP, and they were like talking about crypto, and he never got his Twitter account back. And honestly, good for him. But we did have a JLP tweets song that we would play in the lead, and it's just like 15 seconds, but I got it up here so we could play it here on the podcast because people wanted to hear it for a final time.
That's so good.
Which is weird because it's like JLP's gone, but JLP's Twitter has been gone for years. But for the last time, take it away, Bradley Pines and Will from America.
As you scroll, a JLP's on a roll. It could be punishing logs or guys tugging on poles. What will he say? It could make your whole day. The show's not complete without a JLP tweet.
The show's not complete without JLP tweets and JLP, I think. But we'll soldier on, Chrissy. Do you have advice for the people? Do you have wise words in this trying time?
Girl, I was quiet for a few days. I think you need to talk it through with your loved ones. I reached out to drop your buffs. I've reached out to every single person that's out there. I'm not happy that no one checked on me except for you. So, of course, I was going to talk to you first, babe. But look, I think just watch this space. I don't know, Shan. Watch this space from Chrissy.
Okay, love that. Well, under sad circumstances, Chrissy, what a wonderful opportunity for us to catch up.
I know,
that's a
I've
positive.
missed you.
Yeah,
Kinda
I know.
sucks Channel 10 because we got ditched as well this year.
But what a clump, Chrissy. Does it make you feel a little better about that?
Yes, they can't afford us and they can't afford JLP.
Yeah, exactly. So look, it's a good group. I want to say thank you to everyone who came on tonight. What a great group of players. We sent out the message very short notice because I've had a crazy work week, to be honest. And so this dropped and I was like, oh my God. And like just that day I was like at a big work thing. But once I like locked in, I'm like, Chrissy will do the podcast and we'll get it out and people will feel better. And then we sent it out and as many players as they could in like short notice came on and we really appreciate it. Even from the football, even from Chrissy in her car.
Yes, I'm in the car in Bundy, guys. This is commitment. I'm loving the town, but it's a little creepy at 9 o'clock at night, but I'll do anything for you, Shan. I feel like there were a couple of Survivor people that really wanted to come on. Like I know you couldn't do a couple because of their commitments. And I know Hayley wanted in. I mean, it would have been so good to speak to the Queen, but she's under the weather. So with that kind of a turn up and how many people wanted you to do this later, because I sent the call out as well, and everyone was like, Chrissy, come on, we want to talk about him, but we need longer notice. I'm like, nah, the
Yeah.
people need to hear us now. Sorry,
People need it
Dal.
now. The people need it now. And also for me, I'm starting my Australian Survivor AUV World preseason next week. So we're getting into that. We're doing a podcast on every single player. We're starting with Suri on Monday American time. Yeah. So I'm like, we're getting this is the shiver week for JLP. This is when we have to do this.
Okay.
And then we're going to move on to AUV World. But then we're going to enjoy AUV World, Chrissy, because he's going to be there. And that's going to be amazing.
I know.
So
I feel like we won't be sad. Yeah, good point. There you go. That can be our final word. He's not gone yet. We get one more season.
But after that, no. It will. Then we'll keep loving the show. And I wanted to say this. Not that anyone said anything. Like 10 have always been wonderful to me, other than when they cut us.
Yeah.
But but for many years they didn't. And
yeah.
10, you can attest to this. I mean, look, it's no one who was working with us directly, I think, actually cut JLP. And to be fair, a lot of stuff's getting conflated, and I don't even know around what is 10 and what's Endemol, and I know nothing, and I hate speculating, and yet now I'm continuously doing it on the podcast. But poor 10, I get not poor people hate that I said that. Poor PR person. It's not their fault, and they're like the comments are all
they can hate. It's the industry. You got the project's just gone. There's obviously major money cuts. I know so many producers that have been, if not demoted, they have actually been asked to leave. It's happening, and it's because our bubble's 10, we're seeing 10. Because our bubble's Survivor, we see JLP. Like, it's happening kind of everywhere. I just hope that, and I presume, because God, they looked after me, but I hope they respectfully did this for JLP, and it sounds like the praise was there and stuff, but something, so I'm just going to pray. It puts me to sleep at night thinking that the man needed way more money than he was getting, and they couldn't afford him. That's it. That's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's been an emotional week, certainly, that 10 is hearing about. And we don't know who made these decisions or why, but certainly we all have a lot of feelings about it, and we can't work out within even our confusion what justifies it, and which I think that's what we're trying to do. So I think that's what's hard, but we don't know. But I do feel bad for the people for the social media person for 10, because it's totally not that, whoever that person is there.
You wouldn't want to be reading those comments. Crikey. Whew.
You would. No, this has not been a good week for that, I'm sure. Chrissy, that's a sad note to end things on. Do you want to talk about smelling JLP again? Do you have some other fun things?
I think that's so unfair that it's going to go down that JLP smells like a garlic salty cracker. But at the time, that's what he
did that.
Maybe I envisioned tasting it.
Yes.
I don't know.
He smelled like a burger. It's like you were just like, he looked like a burger with a face on it.
Like fish and chips. Maybe I was craving salt because everyone else was on the island. Hey, great guy.
That's why you licked him, right?
That's it. It was just a little.
Yeah, because you thought he was ice cream. You were hungry.
Oh, I was delusional by then, Shan. It was only about day 4.
Chrissy, it has been 30 minutes. And you just like, taking a bite out of him. But this has been so fun, Chrissy.
Best time. Thank you.
Where can people find what you're doing? You said watch the space. Where can people follow you and find out what you're doing? And everything?
I'm still kind of, I touch base with my Survivor account, but I'm still on the sunny coast, and there's a little bit of chat about something I might be doing up there. Perfect face for radio, maybe. I don't know yet, but we're squeezing some juice to see what's happening up there. So maybe you won't get to see my my gorgeous non-poker face facial expressions, but you might get to hear me maybe soon.
Well, I love it. They would be lucky to have you. For me, follow me at Shannon Gates. Thank you again to all of the players tonight. Thank you to JLP for everything that you gave the show for the last 10 seasons. We still have another one left, but AUV World coverage. And the off season, I had a podcast that came out last week that feels like a lifetime ago. That was pre-JLP leading. Yeah. But that was on the stats of US Survivor winners, which is really fun. That's in the WeKnowGlobalSurvivor.com feed. That was with the Survivor Fact Checker, Costa, the Survivor Fact Checker, where we went through, Chrissy, we went through all the stats. I'll tell you, we went through all the stats of every US Survivor winner to try and make up the profile of like the ideal winner. We're going to Globalify it out. But like the ideal age, the ideal job, the personality type, and then in-game, how often they vote correctly, when they get, if they get votes and when, if they win challenges and when, idols. So It was really fun. There were spreadsheets. There were a lot of
Data
spreadsheets.
queen.
There was so much data.
Spreadsheet data queen. Even I know
Yeah,
that.
it was. Well, he made the spreadsheet, but I enjoyed it. So you can check that out. Mike and I had the breaking news where we spoke about all the speculation about JLP. And then there's this. And then the preseason is about to start. AUV World, getting those podcasts ready. And then eventually AUV World, which is still not being announced when that date is, but eventually that'll drop. And then we'll cover that.
Oh, do you want a teaser there? Am I allowed?
Don't spoil anything.
No, I'm not spoiling it.
Okay, good. But then what's a
date?
teaser? Oh, no. Well, do you think you know the date? Maybe tell me offline. I mean...
Okay, let's do that offline and you decide.
I mean, well, I want to know the date, and I'm sure everyone else does, but then I'm like, I don't want to...
Let's give the people something. They're heartbroken, girl.
No, give a vague date. Give a ballpark. If anyone got to the end of this. Okay, August. I've already said that, though.
Oh, have
but you tell me the exact date after. I really need this for my records. I really need this for my preseason coverage.
I got you.
Everyone else can vaguely... You know, Chrissy, there was a random South African publication that said it was June 22. Never spoken about or verified by 10 in any way. And then, some people just believe that. So they got to June 22 and everyone was like, is it tonight? And I was like, no, but can you imagine if it was? Because I am not prepared.
That's some shitty advertising. No, it's not June. It's not July. I think it's August. And I'll tell you the dates after.
Chrissy, do you know that I'm watching 67 episodes of Survivor Quebec in French with pretty mediocre subtitles? No offense to the subtitle guy. Thank you for your help.
Are you serious?
Because someone from that season is on AUV World, and then I also have to watch Survivor Finland. So it definitely can't be soon because I'm only up to episode 25.
Hang up. We need to talk. Hang up.
Really? Is it sooner than August? Is it August?
Shannon, hang up. Hang up.
Is it August, Chrissy? Don't freak me out, okay?
I think it's early August.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, I got to go watch Survivor Quebec. Thank you, Chrissy, so much. Thank you to all the Survivor players.
I love you, babe.
Thank you to our team behind the scenes. I'm going to go now and stress and prep, but we love JLP. We're so sad to see him go. He has been a wonderful host. It's all been said here tonight, but the fact that this can be done with so much love from so many players, that in and of itself speaks so much for JLP and who he is. So very upset, but also now very stressed to go watch Survivor Quebec. So thank you all. Thank you to our team behind the scenes.
And
okay, and I will see you next time. Bye.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.